Oh, hey Mickey. What's up?
Hey man, I'm just reading my stocks on my
iPad. I heard something about Chinese children working in iPad factories.
Is this the article by Dao Mingzu?
Yeah, man. I wonder why it's so prevalent in China.
Confucianism has been an influential philosophy in Chinese society for a long time. Its teachings, which emphasize on social harmony, has permeated the lives of Chinese from its rulers down to the common man. Among its precepts were filial piety and hard work. Children are expected to help in simple household tasks, and through this, children were also instilled the value of hard work. That is why, for Chinese society, the sight of children working and helping in their family's livelihood is a normal and even expected aspect of their culture.
In 1995, the People's Republic of China, or the PRC labor law, was established in order to create a safer working parameter for the Chinese workforce. It includes that the maximum working time per week is to be set to 40 hours, as well as a corresponding overtime to be paid if exceeded. It is also noted that the workers are always to be paid on time and minimum wage is set locally. In China, they do not, or they actually fail to comply some of these laws by actually doing the opposite of what they are asked to do. For example, some companies would allow their workers to work above 40 hours and not pay overtime, as well as adding unfair deductions to their payments for stuff that aren't really included in their contracts. Due to the cheap labor cost in China, big Western companies are very drawn to producing or manufacturing their products here. However, it is not them that have a hard time complying with the laws, but rather the smaller companies that China has built.
Child labor laws has been passed around since the 1900s. However, they were not strictly enforced until the rise of the Chinese Communist Party in 1949. Because of its strict social ideology, child labor disappeared. During this time, all businesses and enterprises are owned by the government. This means that children are encouraged to go to school instead of working. In 1976, economic reform began in China. Because of this, they changed their economic system into a free market economy. This means that foreign investors and individuals can invest in their own business in China. And because of this also, the gap between the rich and the poor began. Because of the economic reform, child labor has reappeared in China. Because of poverty, children cannot go to school and instead is forced to work in order to provide financial income for their family. Corruption also played a part. Government officials do not give the proper security and benefits to the Chinese people. With the new economic reform, poverty is now prevalent in China. Also, securities and proper benefits are not being given to the Chinese people due to corruption.
Labor employments made with children, whether forced or not, are cheap and profitable. With a sizable amount of workers coming from rural areas, factories continually employ these children in manufacturing and textile industries that would be exported to other countries in big-time corporations. Labeled internationally as a manufacturing powerhouse, China then was able to utilize child labor as a beneficial scheme to its growing economy.
Today, more than 115 million child laborers experience poor health conditions. This is caused by the long working hours and malnutrition. Working day and night, these children get scraps of food and barely any water. This impedes growth and development and leads to diseases and ultimately death. Moreover, these children are exposed to dangerous machines and chemicals, which causes complications such as broken bones, eyesight problems, and even lung cancer. This increases the child morbidity and mortality rate in Asia.
Child labor has been a state secret of China since before the Chinese Revolution. During this time, they were used mainly for agricultural and household purposes. During the revolution, however, people realized how ill they were treating their own children. Child labor has become a part of China's modern society. Even with the actions put forth by the government, an estimated 61% of the 120 billion child laborers are based in China. This has affected them so much that it has even changed the mantra of the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP. They tend to put their nation's riches first rather than their people nowadays.
Due to the large number of child laborers employed in Asia, specifically China, Indonesia, and Cambodia, several non-profit organizations have come together with the hopes of eradicating child labor. In 2007, UNICEF, or the United Nations Children's Fund, wrote a letter to ASEAN, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, regarding the issue of child labor and what can be done about it. This report mentioned the efforts of the ILO IPEC, or the International Labor Office, International Program on the Elimination of Child Labor, which works to eradicate child labor through providing these children with proper education and assisting their families with employment opportunities. Now, these are just some of the examples that go to show how actively participative the world is in fighting child labor.